the family channel itself. Yes, sir.
I can never do my intro.
Bro,
Welcome back
welcome back to my video.
to TT's channel.
Yep, TT stands for Tariq. Tariq.
No, it don't.
Hey, what's up?
No, it don't. It stands for Tanaya. We're not going to exclude the last name.
It's and I was trying to say it's Tariq.
Yeah, just put Tanaya Tyreek.
Ow. And me and my look.
I'm glad Pierre was good. Yeah, it was good.
So late.
This is glitch, my God.
But anyway, today, as you can see, we are going to be watching 10 Terrifying True Stories, Volume 4.
Facts.
Y'all ready?
Now, these are going to be my faces. It's going to be like, or it's going to be like,
You want to hear the video, man? Play the video. Just play the video, man.
No, we are playing the video.
God, okay, let's
This one we can't do nothing with it, God.
Come on.
Okay, I'm back.
A few years ago, something very weird happened with my best friend and I. I was 15 years old. One night I decided to sleep over at my friend's house. After a night of scary movies, we were in the mood to do something exciting. Not far from my friend's house was a demolishing site. A block of houses in a very terrible state that would be demolished the day after tomorrow. The local government would demolish them to make room for new houses. The whole site was fenced in and warning signs saying "Do not enter" hung everywhere. The houses were boarded up by planks. Doors and windows were sealed shut. No one could get in.
There we go.
We decided to go for a walk on the old block and take some random photographs.
why is he?
My friend knew a spot where we could enter the old block. When we walked there, we noticed that every house was boarded up tight, so we couldn't get in.
Yo, y'all didn't forget.
We noticed a house with a window on the top floor that wasn't very well boarded
Sorry,
up.
I'm so late.
Bro, you just spit in the back.
Cut the cameras, pause. Cut the cameras.
We could see into the room. We took a photo with a digital camera. Later, we went home and took a look at the pictures we made. Suddenly, we came across the photo of the window. We saw a woman dressed in a brown raincoat with white skin and black hair as long as we could visibly see.
Bro, just look at this girl. Who are you? Who are you going up at my window like that? Like, you want to post up? Because we could
I thought we ran.
hands.
Ran white.
The woman looks very sad. We hadn't seen any woman up there when we took the picture. Moreover, the windows and doors were boarded. We went back to the house to see if that was correct. After investigation, it really was. Everything was tied shut, and there was no woman. This story isn't mine, but rather of my friend from Japan. I'll call him Rita. It happened back when Rita was only about 11 or 12 years old. Rita was a rather attractive kid and had his fair share of admirers. One girl was extreme with her crush, though. I'll call her Ayano. Ayano was a lot older than Rita. She was 17. She was an acquaintance of Rita and lived down the road from him. Rita hadn't thought much of her until she started stalking him. Every day and every night, she would be following him one way or another, whether it be in person or online. Rita first started getting the creeps when she would start messaging him over 20 times a day. Stuff like, "Be safe," "Are you alright?" "Sleep well," etc. This was a little weird, but he overlooked it. Then the messages started getting creepier. Instead of the usual checkup emails, they got more personal. Things like, "You should eat your lunch," if he skipped lunch, or "I think your sister is hungry," when his little...
What? No, what? Hey, yo!
I don't like how that eyes like
I
that.
don't like how the way you just said that.
Hey, hold on, cut the cameras real quick. Can you make me some ice cream?
No.
sister was crying. Rita stopped using both his phone and social media at this point, but it doesn't end there. Rita's mother was almost never home, so he was frequently looked after by babysitters. One day, he had a new babysitter. It was Ayano. Nothing was particularly strange as she looked after him and his siblings, but she did get a lot closer to his mother than he would like. One day at school, Ayano approached Rita and told him that his mother would be out of the country for a week, and that she told her to let Rita stay at her house. Rita was hesitant at first, but hey, it was his mother's wish. He couldn't go against that.
It's copyright.
Ayano told him that his mother had already left, so he could go home with her after school that day.
Hold on.
Rita reluctantly...
Bro, you going to get this copyright. Hold on.
Bro, he stole my seat. Bro,
cut the camera,
he
bro.
stole my seat, bro.
Bro, we're going to get copyright, bro.
Messing around with you.
Hold on. No, back it up because he all up in my seat, bro.
Bro.
They can see me too, right? Yeah.
Just sit in the back.
Why do you have to...
As soon as I leave, bro, I see somebody in my spot. I have to pull it out.
He agreed and went home with her. When he got there, her parents weren't home. Things get a little...
They did. Mama and Cassidy.
The secret to making a tasty turkey pinwheel? Make it with Hillshire Farm Lunch Meat.
Sponsored by Hillshire Farm.
No,
best
no, we are
turkey.
not.
Get copyrighted.
Make it different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
What?
Yo, what is that?
Hold up. What?
Blurry here as my friend...
No. What is that? .com? Just go, Daddy. Hey, yo.
Every time I get around Tahis, they make me drool.
What?
They do.
choked up telling the story, as it still scares him today. He said Ayano would play weird games with him, stuff like family, where she insisted she was the wife and he was the husband, as well as things like cops and robbers, and games to see who would get scared first, where she would blindfold him and leave him in a silent room for hours on end. It was 5 days into staying at her house, and Ayano had gone to her part-time job.
Why are you so close?
She had left the doors locked, and the windows were too high to jump from, so he just stayed in front of the TV, where he saw a chilling news report. It was a missing child report, with the missing child being him. Before he had the time to catch the number to call, the TV switched off, and Ayano was standing behind him with the remote in her hand. Rita had freaked out, crying and screaming. Ayano held him, but he...
No, we cannot hear him.
No, I can't hear him. No, get out my video. Get out my video. Get out my video.
But you that's your fault. You gotta talk to your
You know you chew your mouth closed?
I know. Look.
What's this?
managed to wiggle from her grasp just in time to open a window and cry for help. Luckily for him, a couple were walking past, heard his cries and called the police. Within an hour, police arrived and found him locked in her bedroom with a blindfold and his hands tied. Due to Ayano still being a minor, Rita is unsure of what happened to her. He says he only remembers the police taking her away while his mother was hugging him. He moved to Australia after this and hasn't seen his kidnapper since, but he still cowers at the sound of her name.
Ayano Aishi.
About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the U.S. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommates that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police-patrolled park quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I went down a short side street in order to loop back down my apartment when I...
Bro, we gonna say animations, bro.
God.
We need to go to animations, bro.
Why don't you do that,
So we
bro?
went.
So,
we back recording? Oh.
guys, my brother wanted to animate it, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So it's 30 horror.
I'm done.
It's 30 horror stories animated, but we're only gonna do a few because I'm trying to make
I
this.
can't hear you go.
So let's get it.
Excuse me.
I met the guy who ate human flesh.
This happened when I was in college. I was 20 at the time, studying for an upcoming exam in biology. That is, until my roommate busted in my room. She wasn't yelling, but I could see she was drunk by her excitement. I rolled my eyes and sighed. I completely lost focus now. But it was okay. I'd kind of gotten used to her behavior. She was a party girl while I was, well, a nerd. I tried to get back on my reading tracks again, but she patted me on the back and drunkenly giggled before speaking.
I don't like that.
Come on, Jasmine. Every time I see you, you're always reading a book. I sighed before speaking. And every time I see you, you smell of alcohol and vomit. She frowned at me. How about this? I'll be quiet all week if you come to this party tomorrow at 8.
Dang.
I wanted to say no, but then I thought about it.
Bags on her
I mean, I do always work really hard. Besides, she won't march in like this for the whole week. Sounds too good, I thought to myself. So I nodded and continued to read. We got ready. I hadn't dressed up in ages, so I was kind of excited. The party was loud, filled with drunk people making out, bumping and dancing. The party was hosted in a basement-like setting, only it was much bigger and had a lot of space. I'm not going to lie, I did have a few drinks. I wasn't drunk, but I was definitely tipsy. So, as my view became tilted, this guy comes out of nowhere and has small talk with me. He was fairly attractive. He didn't seem drunk. We met and exchanged names. From what I remember, he had red dyed hair and blue eyes. He was white and about 6 feet. His name was Luke. We laughed and talked about topics like studying and books and that kind of thing. The talking went on for about a half an hour. He then said, "Hey, I'm going to get another drink. Want anything?" And I said, "Why not? I mean, I'm having fun." So later on, he came back with drinks. And the next thing I remember, we were making out in the corner of the party room. It was so quick. And then he asked me, "Want to go back to my place?" Which I politely declined. I already know what he wants. Besides, I needed to be on...
I'll give her what she wants. Bro.
What's good, shawty?
Campus in the morning.
I'll give her what she
Come
wants.
on, I promise it will be fun. I remember that he kept on trying to get me to
I'll give her what she wants.
go, but he gave up after I made it clear I wasn't interested in going to his place. He rolled his eyes angrily and gave me a paper with a number on it. "Fine. If you change your mind, give me a call." He leaned close to me and whispered against my ear. Then he walked out, and the rest of the night was a complete blank. The next day, I woke up inside my college bedroom, on my bed, next to my roommate snoring on her bed as well. As I got up to shower, a paper fell out of my pocket. It was the number, which made me remember that guy. But I had more important things now. I showered then and went to study. I remember reading my book when all of a sudden I felt dizzy. Then I woke up in the bed with police officers and nurses talking next to me. Turns out I had this dangerous allergic reaction that could only be caused from saliva or any bodily fluids that had come from decaying or rotting flesh. Which, to my surprise, was weird. I hadn't been kissing anyone, let alone ate anything raw. Then I remembered the guy. I told the police about the guy at the party and gave them the number he gave me. A few weeks passed and my allergies went down so I could live my life normally. I just finished my test when my phone rang. I answered it, and it was the police. Turns out the guy from the party had 2 dead, decaying women's bodies inside his apartment that he ate. They must have been there for months.
That sounds delicious.
My heart dropped. The thought that I made out with someone who ate human flesh, or even worse, was what if I had agreed to come to his place? I may have been one of those bodies.
Dang. Human flesh look tasty. Y'all cannot tell me I'm wrong. That stuff
Jimmy's John's is a sandwich place, and now these Weisenheimers are trying to be chip men too. Ridiculous. Pick away, Jimmy John's.
Check my gums. Check the eyes.
Bro, I'm doing my best.
I know y'all can't see it. But I got diamonds on my teeth.
When I was in the 7th grade, I heard about astral projection for the first time and thought the idea seemed pretty cool. Who wouldn't want an out-of-body experience and travel around the world? Anyways, I've been attempting it for several months to no avail. I did doubt it wasn't real and eventually stopped attempting it. Then one day out of January, I decided to hit the bed at around 7 p.m. to take a nap, and the next second I began to feel I was being pulled out of my body as a strong vibration feeling overcame me, similar to that body feeling you get from a strong nicotine rush. I then was floating in my room and felt a presence right behind me, but didn't think much of it. It wasn't a good presence, more of a demonic one. Despite there being my family in the home awake, I didn't see anyone there, and only the light that illuminated the stairway was on. Everything also had a blue tint to it, and I could see clearly in the dark. I had to swim through the air to be able to move, and went through my door and swam my way downstairs. I decided to go up and through the ceiling, and then through the roof, and explore this new plane of existence. However, as I went through the ceiling, I saw this creature rushing towards the stairs, and it stopped as soon as I stopped moving to see it. I could only see the back of it from the right side of it since it was blocked by a wall, but it had yellow skin, pointy, elongated ears, a tail that's medium-sized, and it appeared to be as tall as I was at the time, 5'6". I stared at it for a few seconds, frozen in fear, and before I knew it, I was awake, back in my bed. I looked at my clock and several minutes had passed by. I don't know what to think of that, but it was an interesting experience.
What?
Bruh. Bro, can we reverse on that?
Yeah, reverse on that, bro.
Bro, no.
Bro, he really...
Bro, just reverse on that real quick.
Monster said, I like your cut, G.
When I was 8.
Think of that, but it was an interesting experience.
I like your cut, G.
You're so 2015.
Shut up. Like your cut, G didn't come
When
out
I was 8 years
What you
old,
talking about?
I didn't have any friends. My mom wouldn't allow me to play outside with the other kids in our neighborhood. I was always alone. The only playmates I had were my cousins and my brother, but it took 3 hours and 25 minutes to get to their houses. One day, my mom let me play outside with the kids in our neighborhood for the first time because she was going somewhere, maybe to work or to run errands. I got my dolls and other toys and was excited to play with the kids outside. When I got there, no one wanted to play with me. The attempt was useless, but then someone approached me. He had puppy eyes and was cute. We quickly became playmates. Even though he was a boy, he would join me for tea parties with my dolls. He also invited me to play with him at his house. But I was confused because his house looked old and abandoned. Like it hadn't been cleaned up for almost 12 years.
What are you doing?
Hello?
Yo.
You guys can't see the diamonds?
Yes.
These are diamonds.
Right there.
Open up.
These are diamonds.
But I was confused because his house looked
I got diamonds on my teeth.
abandoned. Like it hadn't been cleaned up for almost 12 years. We decided to go play in his garden.
I died.
They're cute. I didn't know why at the time, but for some reason, I was disgusted. He didn't offer me water or anything. He just looked at me grinning and said, "Next time, you're going to sleep here too." 2 weeks after that upsetting experience, I went looking for him. A paper airplane flew to me out of nowhere. I picked it up, and when I opened it, I was shocked, scared, and sad. It was a newspaper clipping. The boy that I played with went missing 9 years ago. I ran to my bedroom and I saw a shadow through my window. I looked at it closely and it was the boy. He was smiling. Today, I'm 19 years old and I still remember that part of my childhood so clearly.
Man who escaped from prison broke into my house. That's sad.
One day, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, my mom had gone to my older sister's recital in Georgia, and my dad was at work. He was a pilot for some airline. So she left me and my older brother, who was only 12 at the time, at the sitter's house, which was a few blocks away from my house. My sitter, who I'm gonna call Bev, was 19, and she was pretty much the best kind of sitter to a 6 to 7 year old boy could ask for. She let us play games and stay up watching TV, as long as we didn't bother her while she was on the phone with her boyfriend.
I think he's gone.
We were watching TV, and we could hear something scratching the panelling on the side of the house. Naturally, we blew it off as a stray animal, so we continued watching TV. About 30 minutes to an hour later, Bev ran into the living room and locked the front door and shut the blinds. We were curious as to what she was doing. Me and my brother, being kids, got scared and started crying. Then Bev said everything would be okay. It was just a peeping Tom. So she took us upstairs and we went to her parents' room with the Nintendo and some snacks. She said stay put and not to touch anything we didn't bring into the room. Not a minute later after she walked out of the room, we heard a loud crash, glass shattering in the room below us. The sicko had thrown a brick from the walkway through the guest bedroom window and managed to get in. I remember Bev running into the room and pulling us into the closet, telling us we were going to play a game of hide and seek and to be very quiet. She got out of the closet and locked it from the outside latch and disappeared. Several minutes passed and we could hear a grown man screaming, come out, wherever you are. I only want to play." Then I heard what sounded like water running in the bathroom across from the...
We don't want to play with you.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
Oh,
Sir, right there. Yes.
FBI, open up.
bro, hit my phone.
Come out, wherever you are.
Double chin.
I only want to play.
Double chin, you feel me?
Then I heard what sounded like water running in the bathroom across from the closet. Then it shut off. And I heard Bev yelling something at the man. It was something like, "The police are on their way. You better get out of my fucking house now." Then we could hear loud, heavy footsteps sprinting out of the room. And then sirens wailing in the distance. Bev shrieked, and we heard a loud thud on the ground below us. Bev had managed to find an old wooden bat. As the man turned a corner to go out the front door, Bev swung the bat as hard as she could, knocking the man to the floor. Bev had managed to find an old wooden bat. As the man turned a corner to go out the front door, Bev swung the bat as hard as she could, knocking the man to the floor. Dazed, he got up and tried chasing her outside, but the cops had already arrived and tackled the man on sight.
They don't be that fast when we have a real emergency. Because we back.
Nah, bro, because cops be slow down.
My mom came home immediately and took me, my brother, and Bev back to my house. A few years later, she explained that the man was a known sex offender and had escaped from prison. In the report, he was said to be carrying a rather large knife in his pocket and had a Saturday night special tucked away in the waist of his pants.
Man, I put lime juice in it.
School out down. This is facts.
Well, okay, guys, we're about to end it here.
No, we aren't.
Oh, this ain't your channel. We are about to end it here.
No, we ain't.
Today.
School up now.
We'll probably resume This
Don't forget, sponsor.
we'll probably resume this episode.
No, we're resuming it right now.
Back up. So make sure you subscribe, comment, and like this video.
Yeah, go to
some of y'all, bro.
Yo, can you go to
No.
the outro?
Some of y'all
Actually,
ain't subscribed yet.
let's say 98% of
haven't
y'all
y'all-
aren't subscribed or something.
Some of y'all ain't subscribed yet. Why haven't you subscribed? Do I need to put my big nostrils up there to let you subscribe? Do I? Because I smell cap that y'all are subscribing. Because I need... So... Bro, why would you turn this to green? Alright, make sure you follow me.
And some of y'all aren't subscribed.
Make sure you follow me on TikTok, fish_Naya, including my Instagram.
2 Y's and 2 H's.
Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, notifications on.
Go check out Astronaut Heat.
Peace.
Hold down there. Go see Lil 6 Grits.
In Ashton Heat, you know, they be on the,
Bye.
they be thirsty. No, we gonna resume this right now though.
And I be thirsty.
No, we're not.
Wait,
Bro.